Okay, Stephen?
What was the calculation that went into the president's comments yesterday on Russia? They seemed, although you say they were explicit, they were much less impassioned than what Samantha Power had to say at the UN. Is there some attempt to try and stop the clash over Ukraine becoming a direct US-Russia confrontation, or are there things that a UN ambassador can say that the president can't without sort of elevating direct tensions with Putin?
Well, I mean, Stephen, I think the president's answer made clear a couple of things. The first is the president did draw a distinction between the United States' relationship with our NATO allies and the Article 5 commitments that we have to those allies, and how that is different than the kind of commitment that the United States has to a nation like Ukraine that, while is a friend of the United States, is not a NATO ally of the United States. However, because the United States does have an important relationship with Ukraine, the United States will, as the president said, stand shoulder to shoulder with the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian government as they counter these destabilizing activities from the Russians. But the president felt it was important as a matter of policy and as a matter of giving the American people some insight into his thinking to clarify that we're not trending toward a military conflict between the United States and Russia in this region over this issue. There's a lot that we can do to support the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people. There's a lot that we can do in acting in concert with our allies to impose costs on Russia for the tactics that they're employing right now. But people should also have a pretty clear understanding where the president's head is on this, and I think that that's what he was trying to lay out last night.
Does the administration think that Russia appreciates that distinction between U.S. attitudes towards Ukraine and U.S. intentions towards a NATO ally like somewhere in the Baltics? I mean, clearly if that message isn't already understood, that's a dangerous situation.
I mean, you're talking about an administration that, when presented with photographic evidence that Russian boots were on the ground in Ukraine, stood there and denied that Russia had military in Ukraine. I saw, according to one news report I saw, that the foreign minister suggested that maybe it was these were video game graphics that had been trumped up to try to frame the Russians. That sort of irrational explanation makes it hard to tell exactly what they're thinking. Right? Ed?